All right, we are back in our Sierra kitchen with meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We're making a Norwegian dish.
And can you say it yet? Have you been practicing?
Fårikål.
Fårikål? Fårikål.
I'll get it down one of these days.
Yeah, it's Norwegian for lamb and cabbage stew.
Yeah.
So that's what you want to know.
Let's remind people kind of what we did to stir this together.
Sure. So in this, it's a very simple dish, and it's inspired from the fall season in Norway when you've got the lambs that are coming in for harvest, and you know, they've been fattened up all summer long. Before winter, it's time to harvest them. And then you've got cabbage that's fresh coming out of the gardens and whatnot. Now, you know, we're lucky where we can get food like that all times of year in the grocery store. But when we talk about this stew, though, this was a very important thing for people who lived in Scandinavian countries, in Norway, places like that. And so it's just got lamb chunks. It's got quarters of cabbage and cabbage leaves in there, nice broth, some salt, pepper, and all of that just does some talking and simmering. I will say this. Have you ever cooked cabbage before?
Okay, no.
So cabbage is interesting. If you want to try and get rid of the bitter taste, here's my recommendation.
Yeah.
Soak your cabbage, cut it into quarters, and soak it in salt water for 15 minutes, and then rinse it 3 times, and that will help get rid of most, if not all, of that bitter taste.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know how.
Did you do that for this?
I did, yes, I did.
Okay.
So we're hoping we keep that bitter taste away, because sometimes you can get cabbages. Yeah. Kind of like you can get a stronger onion.
Yes.
You can get a little bit of a bitter cabbage.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like, you know, third in line or something like that.
Well, these have like some big chunks in here.
They do, and Norwegians, when they
this?
serve this dish, usually you're given a couple of pieces of meat. The meat is usually a lot bigger.
Okay.
I couldn't get that at the grocery store, but I could get some lamb shoulders, essentially, in there. Usually they get a quarter of cabbage, and then you get some big chunks in there, and then they serve it with some potatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and serve it right now.
Yeah,
if you want me to.
please.
So here's that nice quarter chunk of a cabbage, and there's a little bit of broth dripping from there. So there's that first step. You can think about how that cabbage has been cooking all day. Let's get a little more broth in there. And
it's healthy, too.
You're right. It really is. Again, I use beef broth. You can use water if you want, but that beef broth to me just adds some flavor. Yeah. Now, normally here, you talk about the meat. If you have bigger chunks, that's fine. Just for what I had available at the grocery store, maybe they weren't as big. But you think about it, the beef chunks, or the lamb chunks, I should say, would be more proportional to that quarter piece of cabbage. I think we need a little more lamb in there, don't we?
All right, I definitely think so.
Yeah, so you can have that on in. And then the last thing we do is boiled potatoes. And I've already boiled these ahead of time. If you want, you can also cook these in for about an hour, hour and a half before you're ready to serve. And you just drop a couple of those. You've got the national dish of Norway. Fårikål.
Garnish?
Beef stew with cabbage. Why not just sprinkle a little bit of fresh parsley on top there?
Yum.
What do you think?
I'm really excited. I really want to try the lamb.
Do you? Yeah, here's a fork
I'm fascinated.
I'll let you sneak on in.
Thank you so much.
You can't beat a recipe like this. A lot of people don't really cook a lot with lamb. It's kind of like, what do I do with it? This is a great way to add that. And, you know, I love adding different meats and things like that because it's always beef and chicken, it seems like. But you can have some pork at times. Now you can add lamb to it and have a little bit of a different recipe in there. What'd you think?
So good.
Isn't it?
I'm a huge lamb fan.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think that you might like this if you don't like lamb or haven't tried lamb.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, if I were told that this was pork, I'd be like, oh yeah, or beef, I don't know.
I think you could change this recipe up to not make it the national dish of Norway.
Yeah.
And make it your own.
That's true. Yeah, you could. But there's a lot of history behind this dish, so
keep it safe.
I think Norway. Yeah. Well, something else too. I'll put some tips on my website. You can add other vegetables to that. Things like peas. You could add other things like that. I'll put in the tips and tricks section of the recipe online just some other ways that maybe you want to dress this up. But I wanted to give you the simple version of this, so you can start with a nice base that's time-tested, proven, and delicious, and then you can cater it to a little more of your likeness.
So simple too.
It really is.
What I really appreciate about this.
The only thing is, again, that meat we cooked and seared at the beginning a little bit. That perhaps is maybe the only step you need to take. But honestly, if you don't have time to sear, just skip it, throw it in there. And
throw it in there. Awesome. All right, Jacob, thank you so much. Yeah. And fun little recipe for you. We've had some unique, diverse recipes.
We've been trying things a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
My wife and I are getting a little traveling in, so I'm going to try some dishes and share them.
Absolutely. We love it. All right, if you would like this recipe or you just want to connect with Jacob there on his Facebook page, we'll connect you with how you can give this recipe a try over on SierraLiving.tv. Thanks, Jacob.